Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest and greatest episode of Game Rivals. I am one of your hosts, Maximilian X, and as always, with me is the man who always goes after the free curse, the man with the master plan, the one who's going to have all the battlefield moments. It's Sean Templar. How's it going, Sean?
I'm really good, especially now that I've been able to get some quality time in with Battlefield 2042. So I'm really good. How are you?
All right. I am very good. A
You
lot of
must
fun
be
stuff.
great because you have a shiny new Switch.
Among other things, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like it's been a fun it's been a fun actually not even just week. It's been a fun couple of weeks. Um I mean like the last episode there was some cool interesting stuff that got announced. With the Nintendo Direct and stuff like that, and then we had some other stuff that got announced this past week, this past couple of weeks. So let's without further ado just jump right into the things with okay, actually, let's jump into this one first. So, remember a couple of months ago, I think, or at least a couple of weeks ago, we talked about this rumor about a GTA trilogy coming out, and that it's coming to all platforms, including the Switch. And
Yes.
this like not a remake or an upscale, but a remaster of like the three PlayStation 3 GTA games. So GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City.
Yes.
They have finally officially confirmed that it is coming, which is so anybody who knows me, if you've been listening to this podcast for a really long time, you know that I'm not that big into GTA. But even I was actually pleasantly not surprised, but pleased with the news, with the official news that it's coming. I don't know how you're feeling about it, Sean, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because personally, like of the three games, I want to tackle San Andreas the most. You might kind of figure out why. Partially it's because I've played two. Oh, sorry, I've played San Andreas before on the PlayStation 2, and I actually did enjoy it. Not so much with four, but that's mostly because I like the protagonist in San Andreas more, CJ.
Oh, I
He's a
loved
very
four.
he's a surprisingly relatable guy. I'm not saying that four is bad. I'm just saying I did not enjoy it as much, despite the fact that I played four first and played San Andreas after that.
Okay. Wow. That's a like I have a hate love relationship with San Andreas because um like the first GTA game I finished was GTA 4. I never finished 3,
Huh.
Vice City, or San Andreas. And the reason why I never finished them, I think, is because first off, the former three had a lot of missions in it, but like a lot, and there were also like a lot of annoying missions in it. So, for example, in Vice City, there's this mission where you have to blow up a building that's in a construction site, but you have to get like this helicopter drone, and then you have to pick up dynamite and you have to fly it through multiple stories of the building and plant it and then blow it up. But at the same time, you're being shot at by or attacked by the construction workers because they don't want you to blow the stuff up. So like that's one of those missions where you have to fly this annoying helicopter drone. The controls are already clunky. If you die, there's no checkpoint, or if the helicopter gets blown up, so you have to start all over again. And like eventually, you figure out that if you tilt the rotors of the chopper, you can kill them by
Hmm.
just cutting them up. But like if you don't know that, then you basically just keep on failing unless you get lucky, you know. And it's like one of those annoying mission structures they had. And with San Andreas, for example, I put a lot of hours into that game, but like it feels like I spent an eternity in that game. And then because, back in the day, everybody used to play GTA with cheats, you know? And there was a bug in GTA San Andreas where if you use too many cheats, there's a character in it, a rapper called OG Loke. You come across him multiple times in the story. So if you use too many cheats in one mission, he dies in the cutscene, and that's it. Whereas normally he's supposed to be standing on top of a rooftop doing this suicide speech, and then you're supposed to jump into a truck, park it under him. He falls into the truck on some boxes. You drive him to the hospital, and that's the mission. But because it was bugged because of the cheats, he would always drop dead in the cutscene. No matter what you did, you couldn't save him. And that was like an essential mission to do. It wasn't a side mission. So like basically I got screwed over by the game because I used cheats. Because
No, no, no.
everybody,
You screwed yourself
no,
over
no, no.
because
But
you
like
used cheats.
everybody used cheats back in the day. I mean, like people would know,
Hmm.
people would have like these pages full of cheats, like God mode or weapon set one or weapon set two. You would do this like this, R1, R2, up down, left, right, la 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 la. With your controller, you would get pain in your fingers because you would do all those combos. And then I never had an issue in Vice City with cheats. I never had an issue with cheats in three. So like at that point, I was really upset, and I really enjoyed the game, but I just didn't want to play it anymore. And then I liked four because it had like this really mature story. I didn't use cheats at all after that, so four and five was without cheats. So like I really enjoyed the mature story, but I am happy that they're doing a remake because they've said that they're overhauling the graphics and they're also making a lot of quality of life improvements, but they're still keeping the original feel and look of the game intact. So that does give me
What the
hope.
heck does that mean?
Maybe something like the art style or something. So like maybe there's like checkpoints in the missions, or maybe there's a cover system in the game, or maybe there's, because they said like that the improvements they are making is to bring it in line with the modern GTA game so that the experience doesn't feel as weird, because I can't imagine that new players that have never touched the 3 Vice City or San Andreas and now suddenly seeing this might want to go back. But if there's such a big gap in experience, they might actually be put off by it, you
I don't
know?
know because three has a silent protagonist.
Yes, which
So
was
how
really
are they
annoying.
going? So how are they going to address that? Are they going to give him like he
No,
has no
I
lines?
think that will like stay intact, but like I can't imagine them changing combat, so it's more a bit in line with what it was in the modern games, or
Okay.
maybe they to add checkpoints to the missions or something like that. Um, I think the game, according to the rumors, the game was supposed to come out this year during the
Hmm.
holiday season. So I think it's like a really good time to release it. It's also coming to Switch besides all current gen and next gen consoles. Um, so it's really cool to be able to take GTA on the go because you're not
Yeah.
having, yeah, since the PSP and the DS days, you haven't been able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, the last GTA that I actually played was Chinatown Wars, and I'm kind of disappointed that that hasn't gotten like the remake treatment because I feel like that would actually because they that one was specifically made for portable.
Yeah,
So I would love to have like a Switch version of that. But instead of because they technically do use 3D models, but they're like super low poly. Um and it's top down a la, classic GTA,
yeah. I
which
played it
I
on my
don't
phone for
hate.
a bit. I liked it.
I don't hate that it's top down. I don't know if a lot of people would enjoy having it being top down. I think if they were to do something like that, they would probably want to go more remake instead of remaster with Chinatown Wars, so they can have it in third person instead.
So
But
I would feel forgive. I think that in these days with indie games and the
yeah,
amount of indie games, that people would be more forgiving to a game like that than say 10 years ago.
I I I guess I would hope so. I honestly don't know. But the only other thing that I am really disappointed about this is it's just those three games and not, Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories.
Yeah,
I don't honestly don't care about Liberty City Stories. It's more about Vice City Stories because I want to party with Phil Collins. And you can't do that in Vice City, but Vice City Stories, for some reason they got Phil Collins. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of awesome. And it's in the 80s, so it's like peak Phil Collins, Genesis, freaking Land of Confusion and stuff like that.
yeah.
Um so yeah, that's the only downside. But yeah, it's fine. I'll play with CJ and all the other and all the
I
other
actually
guys.
played Vice City Stories like a couple of weeks ago on my PSP, and it just felt so. It still felt amazing to have a GTA game in the palm of your hands, and it didn't feel like a cheap, toned down version. It felt like a fully fledged GTA game because Rockstar actually put the time and effort into it back then to make a proper GTA game for handheld. And I mean, it still looks really nice. I mean, I'm forgiving when it comes to the PSP and the Vita. I am forgiving for the graphics. Like, I don't expect killer ass graphics, or I wouldn't say like,
Yeah.
oh, those graphics are ugly, because it's a portable. And I mean, I remember the first time when I saw PSP, it was when it came out in the Netherlands. A friend of mine, he had Dynasty Warriors off of it, and it for me it looked so surreal. It was like, it felt like somebody was playing a trailer on it. So like somebody had
Mm.
downloaded a trailer onto it and was playing a trailer so you could see it. You'd almost say like it's a mock-up. It just felt like that. And he said like, I said like, is this a trailer? He's like, no, this is actually the game. Like, here, play it. And I was like, what? People that know me know that I'm a sucker for Dynasty Warriors games. I mean, those games aren't the best, but they're like super fun because you can just turn your brain off and just button bash your way through stuff. And
Yeah.
like, that was just an amazing game to just like see all those units on screen and just be China grow will grow larger in that mode. um yeah, you can even take China will grow larger on the go. So I
Yeah.
mean, it felt surreal. And I sometimes do miss those days where Sony did have a handheld and actually took that market serious. And I understand that doesn't fit in with their current strategy, but I mean, it would be nice.
Hmm. Yeah. It would be nice to have GTA on the go, especially if it means that. Um, Here's the thing with this particular trilogy. I kind of really hope that it sells well on Switch
It will.
because
I think
that'll
it will.
because I want like Rockstar and 2K to like see like, oh, GTA can sell on a Nintendo system.
Hmm.
Because that's why we got Chinatown Wars and not like a console. Like we didn't even get a port of any of the PlayStation 2 games, which is something that they did back in the day for the Wii.
Yep.
But they did Chinatown Wars specifically for DS because I'm not 100% sure how that deal came about because
I
it
would
was
almost
kind of,
say that they were in the experimental phase because they also did stuff for the PSP.
yeah, true, fair, I
Whereas
guess.
now Rockstar's all about the more content we can churn out to put into a GTA Online, the more money we can make.
And just abandon everything else.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Red Dead Redemption Online 2.
The funny thing is, before Red Dead 2 came out, they were saying Red Dead 2 is going to be bigger than GTA Online. We have so much content planned. We have so many improvements. If you like GTA Online, you will love Red Dead Online. And then, like, within a month, people were like, what? What is this? And like, they kept adding content, but not the content people wanted. Like, stuff like bounty hunter missions. So people were like, I don't care about bounty hunter mission. I want heists like I have it in GTA 5. Just let me rob a train, rob a bank, let me posse
Rob
up
a
and,
stagecoach.
yeah, rob a stagecoach.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, to this day, I do not understand why they didn't do it. There's probably a reason for them internally why they didn't do it. It's not like all those hundreds of people working at Rockstar are like, never thought about it. So, but like, why do
Mm.
you abandon this IP? Because Red Dead Redemption 2 was a really good game. I had some struggles to finishing it towards the end because it felt a little bit dragged out, but I really enjoyed my time with the game. I actually hope they'll do like an update with, I don't know, 40 FPS, 60 FPS or something.
I think maybe it's because it didn't have. I think the numbers just weren't there when it went online.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It could be that the majority of the audience was still in GTA Online. But
My
like, if you don't incentivize people to switch over to Red Dead, then you know, because I mean,
Yeah,
the people that play GTA Online must have bought Red Dead Redemption because they're like, it's the next big Rockstar game. And then
yeah.
if you don't keep them entertained, Gladiator reference there, then then they won't stay there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Good point. But speaking of good points, and speaking of things that got leaked before they were supposed to, Blue Point.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Yes,
official now.
it finally happened.
It well, I'm pretty sure it happened, but they just didn't want to announce it when they
Yeah,
accidentally like leaked it.
yeah.
Seriously, that is I don't know who that intern was, and I know we keep saying intern, but maybe it was just like a regular person working there.
Maybe it was
Whoever accident who messed up.
maybe it was Shuya Yoshida who accidentally hit tweet because he has the PlayStation Japan Twitter account on his phone next to his own Twitter account. I mean, just like when in Instagram, where you have multiple accounts, you can just double tap
Yeah,
and then it switches
yeah.
account. So maybe he was like, "Oh yeah, maybe I should send this to my friends on Twitter, like in a DM," and then he accidentally pushed publish on the PlayStation Japan for the whole world. I'm just
Whoever did it should get fired though, honestly, because
yeah.
that's
I
bush
mean,
league,
they
man.
went all out with it. They even made like a short video. I mean, they didn't do that for House Marquee.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
they even made like a small video wherein Herman Haas was like, "I'm really excited to announce that Bluepoint is joining the PlayStation family," and then
Oh my
some
goodness.
dude from Bluepoint just gave like a brief explanation, and you saw some shots. But the interesting thing is, when they got
Mm,
acquired, they said,
yeah.
um, "We're not a studio that is built around remakes and remasters." So like we yes we have people in house that are really good at it, but that's not like we're not a remake studio. We have people
That's not
from
why they exist.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we have people from all parts of the industry who have worked on major franchises, who have loads of experiences, and I think that was part of the deal for Sony, that they got to make something else
Original.
besides a remake. So they said, it was said that they are working on a new installment in an existing PlayStation franchise. And now rumors are starting to float around that they are working on a sequel to Bloodborne, which, if it is true, everybody will go nuts.
I, wait, I thought the rumor was that they were working on a remake of Bloodborne.
I the other day I heard they're working on Bloodborne 2, because that's the idea or the deal. They don't do remake and remasters anymore, or maybe they do, but they do that. But they also get a swing at, I think, either an original IP or something else than a remake. And I think they're getting a chance to work on a new game, and then if they pull this off, they might be able to work on their own original IP. Because never, or nowhere in the announcement did it mention that they were, because Sony in the announcement said what they were going to work on. They said
Yeah.
they're going to work on an original game or something around that one. They did not mention new IP.
Hmm.
But this is good news, because I mean, people have been screaming for a Bloodborne 60 FPS patch and a sequel to Bloodborne. And seeing as Sony owns the rights to Bloodborne and From Software has his hands full with Elden Ring, I think this would be the perfect game for them to work on.
Hmm.
Plus, they already have
Okay.
some experience with Demon Souls, which was received excellent.
I'm actually yeah, okay, fair. I'm actually curious if they would be able to pull it off. And I'm also curious what that means for their relationship with From Software, specifically when it comes to stuff like Bloodborne.
I think in these cases, because you see it with other studios doing other Sony owned properties besides the original studio, is that the original studio is just is still involved, but is not handling the majority of production. They're more in an advisory role,
Hmm.
so you get to bounce off ideas from them. So like when Sony Bend was doing the Uncharted Golden Abyss for the PS Vita, Dog was involved. They were just there in advisory role, saying like, "Okay, this is how the world is. This is like lore in the world, or canon, or
Yeah.
this is how we came up with this mechanic. So if you want to implement it, maybe it's the best to do it like this and this and this." So it's more like a reference you have. So like if they have an idea for something, they might be able to check in like, "Hey, we're thinking about this and this monster with this and this mechanics and this boss battle. Would that fit into the world?" And they could be like, Nah, because because if you I've mentioned it before, No Clip, which is a documentary channel on YouTube. They make great game documentaries. They did one around the Demon Souls remake, and in
Hmm.
that, they go a little bit into how the relationship was between Bluepoint, Sony Japan and From Software, and like that they had all sorts of ideas, and that would just check in with From Software, and From Software was like, hey. Yeah, this is something you can do, or this is something that wouldn't fit into the world. They even had moments in which they had ideas where From Software was like, "Oh wow, we didn't actually think about that. That's so cool. Go ahead, do it, because that would only add to the experience of the game." Um, so I think in that capacity, they have like a really good relationship.
Mm.
It just feels weird for the fans, maybe for someone else to do a Bloodborne game, because it's, From Software is known to do that stuff. So it now suddenly feels weird that Bluepoint is doing it, for example.
Yeah. I honestly, good for them, first of all,
Yeah,
because they are surprisingly good at what they do. And am curious to see what they can do if they either get their hands on an IP or get to actually do something for themselves.
yeah.
But I don't think we're going to see anything from what they are doing unless they were already working on something like remaking something else before they got bought.
They're not a big
So,
studio. They're like 70 people. So I think they're like if they already did start something, it would be like early pre-production.
mm, okay, fair,
Yeah.
fair.
But now they have like
Uh,
the whole big Sony engine behind them, to get things up and running. And I mean, like, I think I mentioned this before, in which that I think that the acquisition strategy for Sony is, we'll just try to build a relationship with the studio first before we go out right there and buy them. So like, um, with Haven Studios, I
mm,
genuinely think that if they deliver a good game, that Sony might consider buying them, because I think what Sony's doing is like, we'll see if you can make it. We'll give you all the resources, we'll give you the funding, we'll give you the brand name and the marketing and the whole shebang. And if you can deliver a good game, then we can always look further and see if we can do an acquisition. And they might not outright say it, but that might be like the plan in the back of their heads, because
mm,
that way they're not buying a studio that can't deliver, and then you're like doing a bad investment. So I think in that regard, they're like, let's just see what we can do. And if these studios actually deliver, then we can always just swoop in and buy them, instead
right.
of going out and buying a Square Enix or a Konami or whatever.
Mm, yeah, sure. Like Konami is way more realistic, but it's, Square Enix now. No,
Yeah. But I'm still convinced that Microsoft's going to buy one of them.
please don't
I
say
think
that. That
Square would
just
be the
no,
most obvious one,
no,
because then
no.
Microsoft can say, we are the best place to play all
No, because
RPGs.
their stuff doesn't sell in Japan. It's not gonna change if they
But that
buy
doesn't
Square
matter.
Enix.
That doesn't matter, because
They're
um
just gonna ruin Square Enix that
they could
way.
still do PC. I mean, you don't know what they will do. I mean, they could say like, you can still do Switch games, you can still do PC games. You're just not allowed to do what's it called?
PlayStation.
PlayStation games. Yeah,
Yeah, I doubt that, but sure. Um. Also, I think you're underestimating like the worth of Square Enix. I know they have literal billions to spend because that's what they did for what did they buy that cost billions again?
idols.
Um, no, not Eidos, Bethesda, like ZeniMax.
Oh, you're talking about
That
Microsoft.
that yeah, I'm talking about Microsoft. That was literal billions. Like holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, but like, what other studio or what other? I mean, they are looking for expansion in Japan. I was talking to someone else the other day, and they said like,
I think they should
Sega would
just.
make
I just I legit think they should just like quit while they're ahead with Japan because it's not like it's not worth it for them to buy a Japanese studio if people are not going to buy your systems. There's like store chains that are stopping, like they are not selling Xboxes anymore.
I read that the other day. Yeah, there's only like two retailers in Japan
Yeah,
selling
two big
Xbox.
retailers. So
Yeah,
Yodobashi Big Camera and
Amazon.
Amazon,
Yep,
which is online, like Amazon Japan.
yep.
Okay, like all right. That's so that means there's one retailer in Japan, like a store chain in Japan that's actually selling Xboxes. Nowhere else is where you can buy an Xbox.
Yeah, I watched a bit of the Tokyo Game Show Xbox conference, and it was just, I mean, like,
Abysmal.
it didn't impress me at all. And maybe it's because it was aimed towards the Japanese market, but
Wait,
Like,
what did they announce there or
I
show there?
I only watched like the first 10, 15 minutes, and I think they announced that Xbox xCloud gaming, like the whole web browser thingy, was coming to
Mhm.
Japan.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. They
Yeah,
announced that for Japan and like a bunch of Asian countries
yeah,
and Australia.
yeah. And then they also showed like um, Forza Horizon 5, and I was like, boring. Yeah.
Oh, you don't like Forza?
I love Forza Horizon, but like,
You
uh,
already know about it.
yeah, like it's nothing new. Like, I mean, I expect if you go to a Japanese trade show, you show stuff that is relevant for the Japanese audience. So, like, bring me JRPG stuff because that's the only way you can probably convince those people to buy an Xbox. But like
Barely.
even then, if you look at what they did with Hironobu Sakaguchi back in the day with the 360, that they had two big Xbox exclusive RPGs, and that I don't know
Nobody
how
cared.
and nobody cared. Yeah, they were like
Which
making
is
this
kind
whole
of
big deal
disappointing
out of
because
it.
apparently like Lost Odyssey was is actually pretty good.
I think that the other
It
game, what the Blue Dragon or
Blue
something,
Dragon,
was
yeah.
also pretty okay.
Yeah, it exactly. You hit the nail on the head. It was okay.
Yeah,
That was the general consensus about it. It was okay. It was very I mean, it was clearly trying to go after the Dragon Quest squad because they also got the guy that does like the Dragon Ball and the Dragon Quest art.
yeah.
Uh
I felt like with
why am
Lost
I flaking on
Odyssey.
his name?
What?
I'm flaking on the dude's name.
Oh,
But sure, yeah, Lost
I
Odyssey.
feel like with Lost Odyssey they tried to go after Final Fantasy because it felt like
Yeah,
Final
yeah, yeah,
Fantasy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That was 100% the case. Also, I think people were kind of weirded out because the game came on like 4 discs at the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
I don't.
PlayStation was all Blu-ray and Microsoft was all DVD back then.
Mhm.
Oh, that was so weird. But even with Blu-ray, I mean, I was convinced. I was surprised when I got The Last of Us 2 and Red Dead because those both come on. Oh, I didn't have Red Dead Digital, but if you buy it physical, it comes with a second disc, and the second go and the set Last of Us does that
Oh,
as well.
an installation disc and a play disc, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's what they did with Final Fantasy 7 remake.
yeah,
It has an installation disc and a play disc.
yeah. I have the digital download through PS Plus, but I don't
I
know.
have both
Oh, nice.
because I bought it physically at launch.
Nice.
And did I buy it or did I get it? I think I no, I got it. I didn't even
Lucky
buy.
you.
Yeah, I got it because my buddy was like, you know, we need to play this. So he bought a copy for himself. He bought a copy for me, so that we can play it and finish it. And like he played it and finished it before I did, and then I played it and I finished it, and we both agreed it was good. Um, but yeah, I don't have a PlayStation 5, so I don't have Integrate. So yeah. But yeah, that one
What's
came on two
the
discs.
I'm just trying to think of so like when a new pope gets chosen, they
Hmm.
have a word for that process. I
I know.
just
I don't know what that is either.
yeah, because then like when they choose a pope, there's white smoke, and when they don't choose a pope, there's black smoke. And I just can't think of the name. But when you said like we both agreed that it was good, I was like, oh, this is just like the council has decided that Final Fantasy
The Council of RPG Weaves has decided.
yeah, has decided we have white smoke. Oh no! Yay!
Oh my goodness gracious
Oh
me.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. I don't know what it is, but that popped into my mind.
Yeah. Speaking of people agreeing on stuff, so we finally have had the reveal of the final Smash character,
Oh yes.
and I'm gonna be like, so I don't think I've ever talked about this on the podcast before. If I did, it was very brief. I do not remember. I don't think you remember.
No.
Um,
I usually nod
but
and smile.
exactly. So yeah. Um, okay, so Sora got announced as the final character for Smash, which is a surprisingly big deal for a bunch of reasons. But for me, the most important reason why this is a big deal is because the not just where Sora comes from, which is Kingdom Hearts, but how Kingdom Hearts came to be and basically who owns the rights to the character. Because essentially, Sora is a shared character, but it's more owned by Square than by Disney. Like, Disney aspects about Sora, like um his initial look from the first game is like based off of Mickey Mouse. That's why he has those big yellow shoes and like the big red shorts. For example, like that's part of the design. The Keyblade, of course, having the Mickey emblem on it is part of it as well. But then, of course, you have the fact that he has two companions, literally Donald Duck and Goofy. So they're two like one of the staple. There are two of the staple characters from Disney. How are you going to integrate Disney stuff, and how are you going to work out with Disney how that's going to be okay?
Yep.
Because everybody knows Disney is very protective about their stuff. Like if you thought Nintendo was protective about their stuff, you have not experienced like how protective Disney is with their stuff.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. It goes through so many committees. You don't even know who you want, who you need to essentially complain to if you want a specific Disney thing made. So it's like Disney is like this weird super mega entity essentially that is just, yeah, it's not, you can't really approach them as a normal person. I mean, let alone as a normal person, but also as a company to do stuff. So it's amazing that Sora is in it because of this. And the way they, from what I can tell, from how the character is in the game and how the game is being represented in Smash, is the only thing that I can imagine is that they had to agree on that they were going to use OG Sora because that's the most iconic look, which makes sense. And then which Keyblade are they going to have him use? Because they could have technically have him wield a different Keyblade that does not have the Mickey icon on it, but the iconic Keyblade is the first one that he gets, which is just the basic Kingdom Key that has the Mickey logo on it. Everything else, so any special moves that he got in later games that involve like the Disney rides, like for example, Kingdom Hearts 3, he has like these special moves that are based on Disney rides, not in here. Donald, Goofy, not in here. They have nothing to do with his Final Smash. His Final Smash is based off the ending of the first game, and it's basically something that he does, which is lock the key to the Kingdom Heart. It's a whole thing. I'm not even gonna try to explain the lore of Kingdom Hearts because if there is any game story in the game industry that is any more complicated than Kingdom Hearts, I have not found it yet because Kingdom Hearts is complicated to the max.
I've only played the
So
first one on PS2 and I've never finished it, but already then I was like,
that was honestly the first one is very basic.
okay, thank
Like
God.
the first one is very basic. It gets weird when you start to consider that every game, literally every game, so even if it was a mobile game, is canon.
Oh my God.
Think about it. They have so many different games. They have three numbered titles, but every other game that came out in between on every other platform is still canon.
They must have appointed like a dude, like a chief canon officer that just makes sure that everything is okay in the whole universe because
And his name is Tetsuya Nomura.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Like Kingdom Hearts is his baby. Like
Oh, I
it's
didn't know.
his brainchild.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
thought
that's
it
why
was
all
more
the
like
character.
the Final Fantasy dude.
No, no, no. Like you don't know about Sakaguchi?
No, but
He
Tetsuya
left.
Nomura also did Final Fantasy. Like he did
Yeah, I mean
7 and the remake and stuff, and 13 and
yeah, but he did like artwork for 7 and like he didn't direct he didn't even direct a Final Fantasy until
13 versus 13.
10. I want to
Oh,
say 10. No, no, sorry. Here Nobusa Sakaguchi did 10 as last. So 12, sorry. 12 was I think the first one that he like directed fully and then he did 13.
and 15.
And well, he started with 15, but he took so long that someone else had to take over so that he can actually do Kingdom Hearts 3.
Wow.
Which again surprised everybody that the fact that it actually came out because this dude takes forever to do things, but that's because he's mostly stuck on like character designs. The reason why you see characters with a lot of belt buckles and zippers, that's why it's his thing. Like if you see like a character with a lot of that aspects from a Square Enix title, you can tell right away. Oh, it was probably designed by Tetsuya Nomura.
Oh wow.
Like if you see any Final Fantasy character or any Square Enix characters that look especially anime, even more anime than you think they should, it's Tetsuya Nomura.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever designed a character that does not have spiky hair. uh, World Ends with You, also Nomura. If you know that title, if you've seen like the artwork of it, then you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. What
Mm,
Michael says is like,
okay.
makes sense. Max, so Max saying is making sense. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna beat that, aren't I? Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna
They
remove him.
showed. I think they released an updated demo for the Origin Final Fantasy game on the PS5, but like
Oh my
nobody
goodness,
cares. I think, to be honest, because it was. I don't. I never played the demo, but like when it was announced during E3, it looked horrible. Like,
that demo was received so first of all, the demo was not good.
yeah,
The demo was received very badly, and then this new demo had some like new story stuff in it, and it's so cringy and so bad.
wow.
Just I look at that, I'm like I don't know who to be angry with, Square Enix for allowing this, or Team Ninja, because it's not being developed by Square Enix internally. It's
Oh, I
being
didn't know
developed by
that.
Team Ninja at Koei
Koei
Tecmo.
Tecmo, yeah.
So I don't know if I should blame Team Ninja on this one, if this was their idea, or because this was their idea, then we should definitely be blaming Square Enix for saying that this is good. And if it's not, and if it's Square Enix that are saying that they should do this, then we should blame them even more because what are they smoking? I do not know what they're smoking. That I still want to play because I haven't played because it's only on PlayStation 5. So it makes it a bit more harder for me to actually try it. Um
Just go to your friend J Prof.
I legit it's just been so maybe I should. Been a
What, you
while.
still haven't even touched the DualSense?
Nope.
Oh wow, okay. I thought you'd done
Man,
that by now.
nah man, Rona man. Makes it a bit more challenging to visit people.
Okay.
Now less so because now everybody got, but everybody got jacked up, but no, I should not say that.
No,
Get
no,
vax.
please.
Get
Like,
get get vaxxed. Get vaxxed.
the
Yeah, it's good.
conspiracy theorists will hunt us down.
Exactly. No, but I just haven't had like the time to like say like, hey, let me swing by and
Mm, okay.
play PlayStation. Um yeah, so Sora, big deal.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to it.
When is it coming
Um
out?
he should be releasing on the 19th here and the 18th in the US. So there's like this time zone
Mm,
difference thing
okay.
going on. So that's going to be very exciting. If you have Melody of Memories, the Kingdom Hearts music game thing, which is also canon, seriously. Um, like if you have the save file for that game, then you unlock like a special arranged song in Smash, so that's cool, I guess. If you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, the character looks really good. It was really fun to see everybody's reaction. Um, I kind of lost my marbles mostly because I didn't think Sora would ever make it. I had written Sora off so long ago that it was just mission impossible for them to get. And I still admit it. It's the impossible dream made reality. And I don't know who they had pictures of at Square Enix or Disney or whatever, but whoever had that that contraband and was able to use it to get Sora into Smash, we thank you.
Nodding and smiling. Nodding and smiling.
So the last thing that I wanted to bring up before we go to the second segment is two things came out this week. this past week, and one of them is Metroid Dread, which is great because I'll talk about it more in what we've been playing. But the other thing that came out the same day was the OLED Switch.
Yay!
And luckily for me, I was able to pre-order it last minute, like super last minute, because it was just being sold out everywhere, and I got my hands on one. Unfortunately, not the white one, but honestly, I don't care as long as I have the system. That's what's important.
I'm gonna ask a question because I genuinely want to know:
Yeah, sure.
are people getting the white one so that they can be like, "Ooh, look at me! I have a Switch OLED," or is it like,
I think it's generally because they, for one, from the reviews that I've seen and from what I've heard from people, the white one is very nice aesthetically. It's very nice and very pleasing because the dock is also white.
yeah,
The other thing I think is that people like they have it in two flavors. So you have the white version and you have the neon blue and red.
yeah,
The neon blue and red just looks like any old Switch that you can buy right now.
yeah?
So it's more so that they know distinctively that they bought something new, and it feels to them that they bought something new than buying something that looks way too much like what they already own. I think that's mostly it. And I'm
Okay.
glad that they did that instead of going back to just pure like the gray. Because the gray Joy-Cons are fine. It's just they look so bland.
Hey, hey,
Like
hey,
that's
hey, hey,
why
hey! Let's not talk
the
bad about my Switch, okay? Because I have
eh,
the gray
don't,
one.
don't worry, I also have a gray Joy-Con. Don't worry, I have
Okay.
one gray Joy-Con.
And well, because like
Most
it felt like I've seen people online, and like it is like the same when a new phone, like I see it with phones as well. It's like when a manufacturer releases a new phone,
you,
but it's like the iterative update, but then they add a new color scheme. People
yeah.
always pick the different color scheme, and they're like, so people can see that you have the new phone. And I'm like, really, are you buying this
Mm.
phone for yourself or for others? Because I couldn't care less what kind of color you have.
I'm gonna be honest with that. I have never owned a different color other than a black phone
I have the same thing.
since
I have the
like the
same thing.
last non-smartphone that I had before smartphones became the norm was this Sony Ericsson phone,
Oh, I
and you
love
had them
those.
in
I love those.
and you had them in two colors. You had them in like the white and like the gray outfit, and then the black.
Yeah.
I bought the black.
Yeah.
I've never had a phone since then
Yeah.
that was not black
Yeah. I love the
because
Sony
it's
Ericssons.
simple.
They were so good. The only thing
Oh, they
that
were
that was I
good.
would have is like they had this proprietary charging thingy,
Oh my
and
god, those things were terrible.
the charging dock
They
would
broke
event
so easily.
yeah, because then you would have to put in all sorts of shapes and sizes to get it to charge, because the mechanism is just like yeah, I mean, but like I remember having I think it was Casino Royale. They brought out like this
Mm.
new Sony Ericsson phone because
Yeah, I
then,
saw that. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
had one
Oh,
of
that
the
was pretty.
yeah, and they had them in a like a chocolate brown color, and that was like I didn't have it myself. My uncle had that one, but it was so nice. This is like I don't like brown as a color, but I was like, whoa, that looks so sick on a phone, you know? Yeah, man. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's mostly because people want to feel that they actually bought something new instead of something iterative, which
Yeah.
it is. But okay, so I
Maybe you
think
should
I
show it
think
first.
oh yeah, I can show it. I put it here in my dock in my because I'm in my office, so it's here. Ooh, look at it. Oh, it just switched on. I need to turn that function off, by
You
the
know,
way.
I love the fact that there's no bezels or like minimal bezels because it
Yeah,
just feels
yeah.
like a modern device.
There is a lot of fingerprints because the screen is very fingerprinty.
Yeah.
There's also like this special film across along it. So yeah, so it looks kind of like this. But there is something very important. There is like some kind of film on the screen that you can peel off. Do
Mhm.
not peel it off. Like
Okay.
it's in the instruction manual. Do not peel it off. It's there to make sure that the screen remains pristine.
Mm.
You can put like a screen protector off it on it. That's fine, but do not like peel like the protective layer off it
Mm.
because I'm pretty sure there are people that are going to be like, "Oh, there's some kind of screen protector in there. Let me just tick 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 tick," and then they accidentally peel it off, and then they just ruin their screen.
Mm.
So
Okay.
don't do that. First of all, second of all, this thing feels very nice to hold. Um, so with the original Switch and like the with the remodel from 2019. you can really tell that it's plastic, and with this they used metal because, for example,
Is it
they
just the
did like
kickstand
this.
that's metal, or other parts as well?
I think the backing itself is plastic. The kickstand is metal,
Okay,
and that's good because that means it's sturdy. And they really put emphasis on the hinges
they look
because they
really
put
good.
out like a they put out a developer interview, like a developer like spotlight thingy when the OLED Switch launched on the website, where they go into depth of like how iterative they went into designing this, which tells you two things. One, Nintendo knew they messed up with the original kickstand, and two, they did not want to make the same mistake
Hmm.
twice. So they super engineered it into being like this. This is so smooth.
A lot of people
This is so
compared it
smooth.
to the Microsoft Surface kickstand.
I have never tried it.
Oh, me neither. But like from what I've
I'm just gonna
seen,
take their word for it.
yeah, because the Surfaces also have like these crazy. I mean, like the first gen was like two modes, but like
Yeah.
I think if you buy the latest, you can basically do the same as with your
Yeah,
Switch. So a lot of people
I can
compare it.
flip it all the way here and it just kind of floats, which is super cool when you put it on the table and take a picture of it. But mostly, and I don't think people and I didn't come up with this. I saw this in a I think it was Game Explain that showed it off. You can use the kickstand to put the Switch in what we call tate mode or tate mode, which is this vertical stand, and it's very stable and secure, and you can play games like if you have the Namco arcade collection, you can play Pac-Man vertically as intended. You can play Ikaruga if you have Ikaruga on it, you can play it that way. If you have Downwell, which is like a very vertical game, you can play it vertically now.
Nice.
Like there is like this flip the flip grip. Thank you. I actually am a Kickstarter backer of the kickflip of the flip grip. Sorry, the flip grip, and I forgot the name even because I haven't used it in a while. But I backed it because of playing it games as intended vertically. But now I don't necessarily need to use that anymore because I could just put this on a table like this and just play it, which is really cool.
Nice.
And I really like the feel of it, but most importantly, of course, the OLED screen is very, very nice. Like I've played Metroid Dread on it, and like the colors are popping, and they're so and like of course everybody's like, yeah, OLED, so you have the truest blacks, and like as soon as I took it out of the plastic and out of the box and out of the plastic, I noticed it right away because the screen was completely black. And I took a picture and I put it on my Instagram. And you can tell because both screens were off at the time from my launch Switch and from the OLED Switch. And you can tell that the OLED Switch is like just black, and the launch Switch has this like kind of grayish
Gray.
look
Yeah.
to it. And I don't know. Like so right now I'm able to play games on both with the same account, just not at the same time. But then again, how the heck would I do that? Um so what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be putting my launch switch in the dock, and it's not going to leave again in the living room. And then I'm just going to use my OLED as my daily driver. I do need a new case because the case that I currently have I am not a fan of. I bought it at launch and I'm still using it. It's just too tight. Like
Okay.
this is what it's done. This is what has happened with that case because that's where the Joy-Cons are, and they're just basically pushing against the
Wow.
Joy-Cons.
Okay.
And I don't like that. So I need to get a one that's a little bit bigger.
Hmm.
Um that has basically space for the Joy-Cons to breathe, as it were. And so I
Yeah.
can put in more games
I
instead of a
noticed
bunch
that
of games.
um, they said, I think Nintendo itself said that the Joy Cons have been improved, but
Yeah,
they
so
will
there's
never be able to rule out drift.
yeah, and honestly, I think part of it is how people use the Joy Cons, and part of it is also build quality for the Joy Cons. And they said that they've been iterative ever since. How much we will never really truly know. But
I
if it's
feel
even
that
like
the Joy Cons have an issue that because it's the maybe I'm wrong, but because the analog stick is so low that there is more like pressure being put on it, and that's one of the reasons why
Oh,
it's prone
that's
to fail. Because like I by chance have my PlayStation DualShock controller here, and if you look
mm.
at like how if you look at like okay, like basically if you've held a DualShock, you know that this analog stick
Yeah,
is pretty high. So
yeah, yeah.
like it
No, I mean the same thing goes for this.
yeah, so
Also
like
high.
yeah, so like I think that because it's so low in the casing, that it's more prone to fail, and that's why I really wonder how the Steam Deck is going to work out. Because I've seen the teardown Valve posted itself, and they've showed how you can replace the analog stick, and it's actually really simple to do it. And they've also shown the mechanism, and it looked better than the Switch's mechanism. So like the analog stick
Wait,
itself,
who did the teardown? Steam themselves? Valve themselves did?
yeah, Valve themselves they released
Is
it this
that the
week.
same teardown that they said like don't replace parts in the
Yeah,
thingy like the battery and stuff,
yeah.
otherwise you could die?
Yeah. They're like, don't replace the SSD because the SSD is specifically chosen for this model. It could have EFI interference that could cause the Steam Deck to behave strangely.
Oh man, have you like you've seen that video, right?
I haven't watched it fully, but I've watched a part of it.
Oh my
It's a
goodness,
pretty funny video.
that part, that part specifically is just I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like so freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I still wonder because it's supposed to come out this year. I still wonder if it has a chance of being something. I mean, like on paper,
Hmm.
it sounds amazing because it's basically like a small PC you have in your hand, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. And maybe worst case scenario, you can just play GeForce Now games on it and take it on the go, which might work really well. But um, I it sounds like a too good to be true thing. So
Well, at least with the 64 gig model, am I saying that correctly?
in the video, they advise you to
Yeah,
use. They say around the storage part, they're like, don't upgrade the internal storage. Just use the
yeah.
ultra fast SD card option they have.
But that is not fast enough.
I know.
Ah, good grief. Like it's fine. Like for Switch, it's fine because for Switch, the games are optimized to be played on that. You're putting PC games on an SD card.
I
That
don't
is not
see.
optimized for SD
I,
micro
I
SD
don't see
streams.
myself playing Death Stranding off of a micro SD card on a
I
thing like
don't.
that.
Yeah, I don't even think that. Just like if you're gonna get a Steam Deck, honestly, this is. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but if you really want to, do not get the 64 gig model because you're just wasting money at that point. Just
Yeah.
at that point, get a Switch. Actually, just get a Switch OLED,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then at least you know that the games will run.
Yeah.
If you put them on a micro SD card.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. That's probably
Unless you
it.
have anything else. Wow, we actually talked about way more stuff. Like as always, we always think like we don't have enough stuff to talk about
But we do.
because like I'm looking at like can we do a little bit of behind the scenes like things
Yeah.
like when we do stuff for the podcast we always prepare stuff to talk about and like we literally have only four things on there like the Blue Point thing, the GTA trilogy thing, the Switch OLED, and Sora. That's the only thing that I have on this list, and yet we talked about I think five other things on the side.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we reach these beautiful lengths. We just rap about stuff, and we'll come up to things that we forgot about that we didn't cover in the news, and then we'll cover it anyway. So that's how we
Yeah.
do things. Um, but thank you guys for watching so far or listening so far. Um, Stick around, and we'll be right back with what we've been playing. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the second segment of Game Rivals, which is, of course, what we've been playing. So, Sean Templar, what have you been playing?
I've actually been playing a lot lately. So I
Strap in, kids.
in the last episode I mentioned that I had won Lost in Random in a giveaway,
Mhm.
and I was in doubt, like, okay, should I play it now or should I finish something else before playing it now? And I thought, like, you know what, I'm going to play it now, and I'll see how far I get. And I started playing it like last week, and I finished it in the same week. Uh,
Wow, okay.
yeah, I like put all my time into that. It's a really cool game. I mean, the art style is super cool. The voice acting is really nice. So basically, in Lost in Random, you play as a character called Even, and she is like this. She has a sister called Odd, and you're in this kingdom in which a queen decides mostly what happens. She rolls a dice, and then in some of the areas or some of the worlds, it impacts what they will do. So, for example, um, you get to this second town. It's called Two Town, and then the queen rolls a dice every day. And the uniqueness of that town is that everybody has a split personality. So, like a
Mhm,
good personality and a bad personality. And when it's the bad dice, people will have the whole bad personality for the whole day. And if it's the other dice, it will be the good personality for the whole day. And so, like, there are six worlds or six towns, and all are inspired by a number of a dice. And you are a oneer, so you're like in the bottom level, you're like in the gutter as they call it. And then every child that turns 12 has to roll a dice, and based on what comes out of that dice roll, it will determine their future within the kingdom. And your sister rolls a 6, meaning she goes to stay with the queen. But your sister doesn't want to, and you get separated from her, and you kind of get sad. And then the whole mission is to find your sister and hopefully save her from the queen. And then along the way, you learn that in the past, in the kingdoms, there were dice yielders, and these dice gave special powers. And then by chance, you run into a dice who is called Dicey, and which is literally a big ass dice that lives and talks to you. He's super cute, and Dicey gives you powers, so he basically helps you out in combat. So how it works is you have cards, and those cards do stuff. So a card could be a weapon, like a sword, or a card could be like a shield, or a card could be like an area of effect attack. And then the way it works is you have to gather crystals during combat. You can do that in multiple ways. So enemies have crystals on them that pop up, and you can shoot them with a slingshot. And when you've gathered X amount of crystals, you have a full hand of cards. And then you roll dicey, and then based on the amount of dice you roll, you get points to spend on those cards. So like
yeah.
you don't have six in the beginning, so you can roll like up to three, and then as you progress further, you get more dice rolls, and then eventually you can roll a six. So then if you have a six, you could get like a really strong weapon, you get like a health potion to use, and you can use like a shield because you have 6 points to divide over your cards. And then you can customize your deck, you can buy new cards. So it's a pretty elaborate system. It's really fun.
Mhm,
I liked the story. I liked the whole exploration part. It felt like a little bit like an RPG because you have main quests and side quests, and the game is super wacky. Uh, the only thing I didn't like is the combat because it gets super repetitive. Because
mm,
basically, if you find like pretty early on, I had like a strong deck, and then throughout the whole game, I didn't have to change my deck. And the combat is simple because there's this dodge ability you have. So you could, for example, if an enemy is about to hit you, you can do a dodge, and then if you dodge through them, you gather all the crystals they have on them. And if you do that enough, you have enough crystals to get a full hand, and then you can just roll the dice. So the combat felt a little bit repetitive, but besides that, definitely love the game. It's one of those games that completely surprised me, and I think that because I know somebody that was super enthusiastic about the game, and she did the giveaway on
yeah.
Instagram, who I won the key through, and it's because she was so enthusiastic about the game. I thought, like, yeah, you should really play it. It's really cool. So I think that if I hadn't won the key, I still would have bought the game. And this is one of those games, like, it's done through the EA Originals program. Um, it's really a game that I would recommend to everyone.
And yet, it's not really promoted that much by EA.
No, that part I do not understand because it got good reviews, and it's like I think it's one of those games that really gets big because of word of mouth. But yeah, I
I
mean,
hope it honestly, I hope it does because it sounds like a lot of fun.
it's a super fun game and it's available on all platforms like Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. I definitely recommend it. I mean, it's one of those games. I don't think it's even full price. So I think like if you're looking for a fun indie game this holiday season, this is one
Yeah.
of those perfect games. Um, Besides that, I started playing some more Mass Effect 3. It's Mass Effect. I just need to finish the game. It's gonna cost me hours, and just but the annoying part is I want to
Yeah.
finish the game so I can delete it because it's taking up 100 gigs on my PlayStation instead of me actually wanting to finish the game. It's a
Oh, you
bad
could
reason.
always get
SSD
a
expansion.
SSD
Well,
expansion.
I'm looking into it. I've actually picked out an SSD. I haven't ordered it yet because I'm waiting for a specific type of heatsink, which is coming out soon. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm waiting for that. And then I played Yakuza 3. I started playing that one. Um, I I have mixed feelings about it so far. I'm in chapter 3 or 4.
Mhm.
I know that Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 were remade with the Yakuza 6 engine, I believe. And these are literally 3 is a remaster. So you can really
Yeah.
see like it's a PS3 game that got remastered. It's not as
Yeah.
pretty as Kiwami 1 and 2. And the story drags out a lot in the beginning. So you're like, you still play with Kiryu, Kazuma Kiryu, and you are now running an orphanage in Okinawa, and um, you're taking care of these kids. But like the first 4 or 3 chapters, you're basically running around doing errands for these kids. And they're like, really? And then when you get to Okinawa, the city, because you can go there, you walk on the streets and then you get random, like in the first two you could walk on the streets and then random people would approach you to fight you, for example, and then you
Mhm.
could see those on the map and you could outrun them if you didn't feel like fighting them. But here you can't because it sometimes just randomly happens that they spawn in front of you and they're like, hey you, and then they walk up to you and then they want to fight you. And then while you're doing a mission, it's really annoying that that happens because you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not in the mood to kick your ass, just leave me alone. So I think it will probably get better.
Mm.
But like the first 2 or 3 hours is really boring. I'm like, come on, man, I don't have time for this. I'm not a babysitter. But it will probably get better as I play it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get better.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
actually, before you continue, because how did I totally flake on this piece of news? The director, I think, I don't think we talked about this before, but the director was rumored to be leaving Sega.
Okay.
Is it Nagoshi? Think it's Nagoshi. He was rumored to be leaving Sega for like NetEase. They were trying to like court him,
Okay.
so he was like in talks, and now it's been confirmed that he's leaving Sega. So
Oh
I'm
wow.
assuming that that deal went through,
Okay.
and like the I think like the not the co-director, but like the dude below him, it's like his like one of his best friends as well at the company and stuff. He's also leaving too.
Oh
So they're
wow.
both leaving the Yakuza studio.
Okay.
The Yakuza studio has like new management,
Hmm.
but they're basically people that were already there. Like they had like this whole post about it, and like I seriously I love that studio
They
for
make
one
really good
reason and one
games.
reason only. Okay, besides the good games, um, they all look like they should be part of a yakuza. Like the what do you call it? The staff photo of like the executives. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and they're all standing in line. They're all dressed in black, and they're all looking sharp.
Oh
It's like,
wow.
oh, okay, they know what studio they work for.
Nice. Well, those things are cool. I mean,
Yeah,
I bought 3, 4, 5, and 6 of Yakuza in the last sale, and after I finish it, I want to play Judgment because I heard good stuff about that, and I also want to play Lost Judgment. It came out just
that one is
recently.
kind of mixed.
Yeah, it has mixed reviews, but I'm like, I don't care. Um, but like, the Yakuza games are fun. I would definitely recommend them because they have like really cool stories and the combat's fun. And it's a little bit goofy. I mean, goofies can be nice.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, let's see how far I get along before it drives me crazy. And then I played. What did I play? I played more. If I'm thinking if I played something else before I talk about the game that I finally played. Um, no, I think that's it. So this week, I finally got my hands on Battlefield 2042. The open beta has gone live. Um,
Well, the
and
beta for people that pre-ordered.
yeah, so the pre-order beta was on the 7th, and the open beta started yesterday. But by the time this airs, it will be over.
I tried to download it and it said you had to buy the game.
Oh, that's weird. I was able to preload it, but I couldn't play it until yesterday. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, I like a friend of mine participated in the technical alpha, and he
Mhm.
said it feels a lot like Battlefield 3. So that gave me hope. And now that I've played it myself, I am like, this is the Battlefield 3 success sequel we always wanted but never got. It is just so good. I mean, I had the biggest smile in the world while I was playing that game. The gunplay is just spot on. They've introduced mechanics into the game which make combat far more dynamic instead of static. So, like for example, they've added something which is called the plus system. So, um, in previous Battlefield games, you would have roles, and those roles would have specific weapons. So, like an
Mm,
assault, or an engineer, or a medic, or a scope, or a recon. Now, what they've done is they've introduced operators, kind of like in Rainbow Six, and the operators have special abilities. So, there's one which has a grappling hook, for example, or one is specifically focused more in medic abilities, or one has a
mm,
bit more engineer tailored abilities. So, you first start out by choosing an operator, and then you can either pick any gun you want, which is different than others, or you can pick specific loadouts. So you can be the medic operator that has one medic ability but also carries a bazooka, which wouldn't make sense in other Battlefield games, but you
mm.
can. So besides mixing and matching there, then when you get into combat, they have the plus system. So that's weapon customization on the fly. So you don't have to go into
Oh.
menus and stuff like that. On PlayStation, you keep L1 pressed, and it's kind of like in Crisis. Your gun comes up in front of you, and then you see like this plus over your weapon, and it has all the attachments that you can put on. So different scopes, different grips, ammo types, barrel types. And I don't know if it's a difference in the build because I played both the PS5 version and the PC version. In the PC version, when you switch an attachment, you can see um, the difference it will have on the attributes with like the numbers next to it in a red or a green. So it will say +5 green on handling, or -3 red on power. Whereas on the PS5 build, it just shows the numbers going down. So it'll shift, but it won't give you like the red or the green. So you won't actually see the benefit or the disadvantage of a certain attachment is clearly on the PC. I think it's like a build thingy. Um,
Mm.
but what that system enables you is to make combat far more dynamic, because there are instances in which I see enemies in the distance. So I switch out long range ammo, long range scope, long range barrel. I switch to single fire, and I just start shooting single fire, long range, and killing enemies. Then, when I get into a more urban setting, I switch my weapon around: short range scope, short range barrel, short range ammo, far more ammo or faster ammo, and then I can just quickly act in that close quarters combat situation. Whereas in the past, you would be like, oh crap, I put a heavy barrel on it and a 4 times scope, but I'm like in a super short distance. Um, I'm having too much recoil and I'm zooming in too far, so I can't actually use the weapon as much as I want. So we'd have to switch to like an SMG class. But because of that plus system making combat so dynamic, and the switching of the attachments is so quick on the fly, there were like these instances in which I was like, whoa, I feel like a far more jack of all trades kind of player instead of specifically focused on my role. And I really enjoyed that part. I didn't expect it to have such an impact on the combat.
Yeah.
Um, I
All
played it
right.
both on PS5 and on PC. It's a really like heavy game for PC. So I could just run it at full HD, medium settings, 60 FPS, and it looked okay. But because I had played the PS5 version first, I was like, holy shit, the PS5 build looks really nice. Um, like a subtle difference I noticed is that they have dual. I don't know if it's specific DualSense implementation, but what I felt in the DualSense is when you're running around, you can feel the footsteps, but you can also
Hmm.
feel the difference in the materials of the footsteps. So if you're running on a hard surface, the DualSense will specifically vibrate in areas harder or softer. So I was like, whoa, this feels really cool. Um, there are no adaptive triggers there. At least I haven't seen anything. So maybe they'll add it after launch. Um, there's also a new mechanic in which you can basically, because the maps are so huge with 128 people, there is this tablet you can use to uh, drop in stuff. So you can drop in a tank or you can drop in a jeep to get over the map quicker. You can drop
Of
in,
course.
yeah. There's a limit, so you can't like not everybody can spawn in a tank.
Yeah.
Um, but you can also drop in, for example, like a ranger, which is this robo dog companion, which is really cool because he will follow. You saw it in the trailer, maybe. Is this
Did
dog which
I?
has like a 50 cal machine gun mounted on him, and he just follows you.
Man, I saw so many crazy things in that trailer. I couldn't even keep up with it. The only question I have with you right now is, did you go into a tornado and did you shoot someone with a rocket launcher in a tornado?
Well, funnily enough, um I had my first tornado yesterday because what they
Oh,
did
okay.
is for them. There's only one map. It's called Orbital. It's a
Hmm.
mix of Caspian Border and Firestorm. It feels like that from Battlefield 3. They said that they turned the probability of the tornado down for the beta, so it's like a 10%, but in the retail version it will be more. The funny thing is when a tornado happens, everybody starts running towards it instead of running away from it. So what you'll notice is there's dynamic weather in the game, I think. So it'll
Yeah.
be rain, it will be sunshine, and then suddenly it starts to rain, and it starts to storm, and then eventually the tornado appears, and the tornado sweeps over the whole map. You can see like this huge red circle on your map, and as soon as I saw it, I started running towards it, and like everybody was running towards the tornado. Everybody was like, "Ooh, a tornado!" And then when you get, yeah,
Don't do this in real life, kids. This is a video game we're
yeah.
talking about.
So when you get close, when you get close enough to the tornado, it sucks you in. But like the funny thing is like while I was running towards the tornado, I saw airplanes flying around in the tornado, helicopters in it, tanks. It's like the most crazy stuff happening. And then I got into it, and then I was able to pull my parachute out, and I kind of wanted to steer away, but if the tornado sucks up debris and it hits you, it will cause damage. So I was eventually killed by
Obviously.
debris in the tornado, which sucked. Um,
Ah,
but yeah, I mean,
yay, I'm
it's
in the tornado. Dead.
yeah, it was basically that. But it's really good. It's really good. I mean, um, I am looking forward to playing it. It's coming out next month. I'm happy that they pushed the game a little bit. I think it's coming out like on November 19th. I'm definitely going to be able to. I don't know if I have taken time off, otherwise I will. But like, I am going to sink so much hours into this. Yeah, it just feels right, and I'm really
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
if for some reason we're unable to do the podcast after November 19th,
You know
now you
why?
know why.
Yeah, you know why. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, Battlefield's doing Second World War this year. It's called Vanguard. I mean, we talked about it. It didn't get
I
me
don't.
as excited as Battlefield.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah, and I think a lot
I'm
of people
gonna.
are switching.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna see if the beta is finally online. I'm gonna try it at least if I can.
Yeah,
Um, and otherwise, I think there's one more beta coming this coming weekend as well, something like
I
that, or
honestly don't
something.
know. I hope so.
Um, it would be nice if they did, but I will check it out. I'll try and check it out if I can. I'm playing on a PlayStation 4, so I don't have that massive 120. It's just
But it's
what
still nice. It's I
64,
think
so
it's 64 on the
64 or
yeah
something.
yeah.
So that's fine. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I don't care really. I just want to see if I can. I want to. I want to. Like, I have never really played Battlefield outside of like Bad Company,
Which is also a good one.
which is also really good. And I kind of wish they would do more Bad Company, but I don't think that they're ever going to touch Bad Company ever again.
I don't
For
know because
like,
Bad Company 2 was really good.
I no, I think there are like a bunch of reasons why they can't do like a new Bad Company.
Okay, because like for years there's been rumors floating around that they were doing a Bad Company 3.
Really? Because I
Yeah.
I legit thought there were rumors going around that there's a reason why they can't do a new Bad Company.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm
Maybe.
happy that they stuck to this because after the disappointment that eventually became Battlefield 5, um,
Oh,
this
you
is
were
like
so
a
disappointed.
yeah. I mean, like it had too many ups and downs. Like there were moments when the game was really good, but there were moments like the game was really bad, and that was like really really bad.
Do you think they'll bring back the Zeppelin in 42? Because like 42 basically has all the eras of like first person shooter like military that you've seen. So like World War One, I think World War Two, like modern day and like future stuff. So
I don't know if
I'm
it's. I mean, in this beta, you can only play the conquest mode. There's no portal,
yeah,
what you're talking about. But they have said that they will keep on adding content to Portal. I think they're like in the beginning just doing like a base asset thingy, and then like people can just play with that and experiment with that, and then they'll probably just keep on adding content. I think it'd be super cool if they added zeppelins to the game because um, the Battlefield One wasn't actually a good Battlefield game. I had a lot
yeah,
of fun running on the Zeppelins with that one. Yeah, I mean, I had one instance in the beta yesterday that there's this rocket in the map, and there's a point where they're getting ready to launch the rocket, and from that point on, you can damage the rocket and then eventually blow it up. So um, eventually people start shooting and trying to destroy the rocket, and then just before it destroyed, I landed on the platform where the rocket is, and suddenly shit starts to blow up all around me, and I'm just trying to get away from it because I just don't want to die, and it felt like something out of a movie. I'm like running and debris everywhere and explosions and stuff like that. I'm like, holy shit, what's going on? Oh, sorry, what's going on, like running around, and like it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I
uh,
mean I think that's the selling point of Battlefield. It's just crazy fun filled with Battlefield moments.
yeah.
I shot
I'm
a I shot a helicopter out of the air with a bazooka. I never do that. I was like, oh,
well,
if I aim
I don't
here.
think anybody would do that. That would be weird.
Yeah, but like I'm aiming here. I'm like, oh, maybe if I shoot there and pop, I did it, and then I shot the guy out of the air. I'm like, oh, whoa, I did that. Yeah,
That honestly, that just reminds me of Battlefield Heroes and how that did not really get a chance to bloom.
yeah.
Especially, like I think Battlefield Heroes came out way too early because if it came out around the time that
Fortnite.
Fortnite was being popular, I think
Yeah,
it would have done gangbusters because
probably.
they were essentially doing what Fortnite is doing before Fortnite,
And it was browser
but
based.
it was browser based and it was team based because
Yeah,
Battlefield is team based.
yeah,
Oh man, I kind of miss Battlefield Heroes.
yeah.
Oh well. All right. I guess is anything else you want to share about Battlefield 2042?
2020, 2042.
2042.
Yes,
Did I
okay.
say that? Wrong year.
Yeah,
Wrong year.
wrong century.
Yeah.
um, I mean, like if you're looking for a new shooter and you're a little bit tired of a Call of Duty, I think this is the perfect time to switch. I know a lot of people that are considering switching. I'm like, I told the Call of Duty group I play with already, like, I don't care about y'all, I'm switching. So like, if y'all want to play Warzone, y'all play Warzone. But you won't find me in Verdansk or on Rebirth Island. I will be in Battlefield 2042 for the rest of the year. So, um, and they were like,
Yeah.
okay, well, maybe we should give it a chance. So, yeah, do it.
Okay. Okay.
That's my sales pitch. Do it. Yeah. But hey, that's what I've been playing. What have you been
Yeah.
playing?
All right. So, well, I think yeah. So basically, I've been playing more Persona 5 Royal.
Oh,
I've
nice. I've
gotten a bit
seen that.
further.
I've seen you on PlayStation saying that, playing that. Did Persona
Yeah.
get a PS3 release as well? Persona 5?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Like
alt,
the
I think.
main, not Royal, not the one that I'm playing,
Yeah,
the
because I
version that
saw
I'm
like
playing, but
a
the
Ultimate Edition or
base one
something.
is
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It because it was first announced for PlayStation 3, that took forever and a half, and then the PlayStation 4 came out and was like, well, we kind of have to put it on 4 now too. So they did it for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, which was honestly, I'm actually surprised that they didn't just outright cancel it. But I think because they didn't want to anger anybody that was still on PlayStation 3,
hmm
especially in Japan.
Yeah.
Um, so they just did both. So it
Mm,
came out for
okay.
PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. But Persona 4 Royal,
5 Royal.
what I'm 5 Royal, what I'm playing, is PlayStation. I think it's PlayStation 4 only.
Okay.
So there's no PlayStation 3 version of that, obviously,
Okay.
because that would serve absolutely no one.
Yeah, I saw it in
Yeah,
like a video, and I was like, "Oh, Persona 5, did that came out on PS3?"
yeah, it
It
was
did.
like it was announced. I think in 2012 with like a teaser video. So
Mm,
like right before the PlayStation 4 got announced and released.
okay, that makes sense then.
Um, so that was like a year or so before, maybe even 2 years before that. I'm not 100% sure. So that was like a long time coming. I mean, the reason why Catherine exists is because the team was experimenting with their HD tool set and seeing if that the art style of Persona can translate into like HD.
Mm,
Because before that, the only thing that they had done was PlayStation 2 stuff and PlayStation 1. And the most recent game that was out at the time was Persona 4.
okay,
Yeah. I
nice.
played Persona 4 originally on the PlayStation 2 before I got the Vita version.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for them to just bring that out on Switch, but I don't think it's ever going to happen at this point. So I gave up and I bought it. That's why I'm currently playing Royal now on my PlayStation 4 because I just got grew tired of waiting. And so far it has not disappointed me yet. But at the same time I was like, should I stream this? And no, I made the right decision not to stream it because there's a lot of gosh darn cutscenes in this game. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the story and I love the characters. The characters are a lot of fun. Like, they are so fun and unique, and they all have their own stories and they all grow in their own way. And it's fun to help them and like talk to them and like hang out with them and go play darts and go play pool or just kick it and like watch a movie and like listen to their commentary or just doing stuff. And of course like the combat is fun. Like, that, I mean, it's turn based. If you're not a fan of turn based, I don't think Persona 5 Royal is going to change your mind. But if you are a fan of turn based JRPGs, this is one of the best ones I've played so far. um like, the combat is really good, and I've reached a point where you can't do just basic stuff, and I kind of made my characters, or at least my personas for my main character, a bit lopsided, because you now need to use like stuff like to get rid of status ailments and stuff like that, and those items tend to be rare to buy, so you should rely on abilities that you can get with your personas, and that's where I kind of messed up. So that's fun. So that's fun. So I had a really difficult boss battle that I finally beat, and now I'm like, okay, I need to kind of rethink this stuff, and um I need to figure out what it is. Like, I need to refigure out how I'm going to rebalance all those personas and all those moves, and I need some healing stuff and like there's a lot of stuff that I have to think about besides the story, and I need to get into it, and I have to make sure that I'm also making the right connections and like social links and stuff like that, so I can actually get to the post credit stuff. Because a friend of mine told me, he's like, "Oh, make sure like you befriend these three characters, because if you don't, the post story stuff is not accessible, and you have to play the game all over again."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I don't want to play through it twice. I just want to make sure I get it right away. So I've already maxed out one of the characters. So there's only two more to go, but those have way higher levels that I need to reach. So I'm hoping I'll be able to do that and not mess up.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not my type of game. I know it's available. The normal version is available in the PlayStation Plus collection, but just
It is?
yeah, yeah. It's the
Give
normal.
it a try.
It's not raw. Yeah, maybe I will, but I don't know.
Give it a try. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like
I mean,
nobody's been, and you tried it as well. I've asked others, but like nobody's been able to tell me, like tell it in such a way that I'm like convinced that like, oh, I want to try this. And you've tried, and others have tried. Like I always say, like, what's so special about Persona? And they're like, yeah, it's this and this. La, 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 la. I'm like, yeah, but It
Okay,
doesn't do
okay. Honestly,
anything.
I'm just gonna break it down for you very very simply right now. So in terms of like Persona, the franchise, there's two things that are very well, three things that are really really fun about it. The combat, because for a turn-based game, the combat is very deep. The characters, because like I said before, the characters are very unique and very fun, and you just want to be their friends. Um, Especially the teammates. Like there are like characters that are like not part of your team, but they're also very interesting and unique, and you want to get to know them more.
Okay.
So that's two, and three is just the gosh darn aesthetics of the game, man. Just
I do
it
think it looks
is
really cool.
so pretty, and the music is so good. Like those three elements alone, I'm like, if you have the ability to try it out because it's part of the PlayStation Plus collection on your PlayStation 5, do it. Like at least um play like the first 5 or 10 hours or so. And, like if you're still not a fan, that's fine. It's a JRPG. You need to give it time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um like at least try it. If you're not convinced by the characters or the stories or the aesthetics, fine. At least you gave it a shot.
Yeah. I think
So
that's
I've put
the issue for me that
yeah.
like I have to invest 5 to 10 hours to figure out if I like it or not.
Yeah, you need to invest more into Monster Hunter than that. So 5 to 10 is fine.
That's why I don't play Monster Hunter.
Well, no, it's because you're scared of me teaching you how to play Monster
No,
Hunter.
not at all. I really couldn't care about that, but like I don't. That's a conversation for another time.
I still say we should do a stream on Monster Hunter, but I think you sold Monster Hunter, or do you still have
I
it?
never bought it.
I thought you got it like cheap.
What Monster Hunters for the Switch?
Yeah,
No, no, no. I never got it. I always said like I would be the guy that bought it off the poor fool that thought it was nice, but eventually after
I
playing it for
thought you
like,
did.
no, I didn't. But I was, but I
Huh?
didn't. Yeah,
I thought you
I might
found the
still.
poor fool that wanted to sell it for cheap,
I
but I
bet
mean,
if
good
I
for
look
you.
now, I'll probably find lots of poor fools that are like, "Oh, I really thought it was a cool game, but it wasn't for me, at
Yeah.
least." Then, yeah.
Um. Yeah. So I played that. I also, of course, played Super Metroid. I beat Super Metroid on my stream.
Oh, nice.
Um. Yeah, that was a moment.
Yeah, I can imagine. I watched
Lit.
the first few
I,
streams where you played it. So,
like I literally beat it the day before Dread came
oh
out,
shit,
so I was
timing.
really happy, and I was really tired. Um, but yeah, I beat it on stream, and it was really exciting. And like I told the Mother Brain that she could sawed off. Um, but yeah, that here's the funny part. So I beat the boss before the last, and the final boss was easier than the boss prior, because the boss prior had like a crap ton of health.
Oh shit.
So I just got sick of it, and I just looked up like strategy to beat him on like GameFAQs, and then I found out that he had a lot of health. So I had to use super missiles, and I had to get 30 shots in,
Oh
and
wow.
I only had 28 missiles.
Oh my god.
And you always miss at least a percentage of the shots that you
Yep.
take. So after that, I had to use my charge beam, which takes a while to charge. And if he hits me, I have to recharge.
Oh man.
So thank goodness I was playing on the Switch with the Nintendo Switch Online service, because that has a very generous rewind feature. If it wasn't for that, I think I would still be playing that game right now.
Oh my god.
So thank you, rewind feature. Like I said on the stream, I don't care that I used the rewind feature. It is there to be used.
I was about to
So
say
I
the same
used
thing.
it. So I used it, and I beat Super Metroid on my own for the first time ever,
You
because I
probably
never
abused it.
oh yeah, yeah. Not early on, but later in, like with the later, but like the last two bosses, sorry, not the final boss. I didn't even need it for the final boss.
Hmm.
That's how surprisingly easy it was. It was more challenging to get to the final boss than the final boss. No, sorry, I lied. I actually
It
did use the
sounds
rewind
like
feature
a boss battle from
like
Returnal.
twice. Kinda. Well, kinda, because it's a big giant brain,
Hmm.
hence the
Yeah.
name Mother Brain. Yeah, it's really gross.
Okay.
Yeah, but I turned that thing into dust, so I don't care. Yay! And then I started playing Metroid Dread, of course, because that came out. Played it on my beautiful Switch OLED. I streamed it a little bit as well. I want to say that there's another game that. Oh, right, yeah, Sora. So that got me very excited to play Kingdom Hearts again, and I did start playing Kingdom Hearts like months ago on my PlayStation 4 because I got the all-in collection, which again I forgot to talk about in the news. So with Sora's announcement, they also announced that for the first time, finally, all the Kingdom Hearts games, the collections, were coming to a Nintendo console. They're coming to Switch in cloud form.
Oh wow, that sucks.
Yeah, that was kind of a pisser. Um, because the first collection was on PlayStation 3. They could have easily ported that if they wanted to. The second one is a little bit more challenging because that one did not come out on a PlayStation 3. It came out on a PlayStation 4, but apparently that one had issues. So they'd have to fix the issues so they'd be able to port it,
Okay.
technically. The third one, I wouldn't even mind if that was Momo's Cloud because it's Kingdom Hearts 3. And if you've ever seen a trailer of Kingdom Hearts 3, that thing is filled to the brim with what's the
Particle
word I'm
effects.
looking for? Thank you, particle effects.
I just took a wild
Um
guess, but those
no,
are
but you were
generally pretty
100.
tough on a
Yeah.
console.
Yeah. So, fine. Cloud version of Kingdom Hearts 3 I could have accepted, but the other two, no. I feel like Square Enix did the bare minimum at that point, and yeah. Honestly, I would like if I have the all-in-one collection on my PlayStation, I would have happily done the same thing again if the first two collections were like just download or like buy the physical copy. Cloud
Mhm.
version, nah, fam, nah, fam. You're just sabotaging yourself at that point. Because even like Dying Light, like the first game is coming out like on Switch. Like they're porting it to Switch. The second game is coming out on cloud. I can completely understand it and I can completely respect that. But at least I can see they actually put effort into porting the first game.
Yeah.
So that's a little disappointing. So I played little bit of that. I also played a little bit of Super Mario Bros. 3 on my Switch. The only reason I did that is because, the OLED screen. Most NES games have a lot of blacks in them, so I wanted to see how that looks. But then you realize that they also kind of blow up the graphics, so it looks kind of weird, and like the pixels look kind of weird. And I don't know if it was specifically that game, so I have to try it with another game, and I have to try it with Super Nintendo games. But if that's what they look like, I think I'll stick to playing those games docked because it looked a little bit weird. But maybe it's because I set my screen to vivid. Oh, by default, like the screen's like color balance is set to vivid. So maybe I should switch to standard, and maybe that'll help a little
Can
bit
you
because
adjust
the
that? I
colors
didn't
were.
know.
Yeah, you have like two different like color settings. You have
Oh, that's
vivid,
nice.
which is the default. It's like very like in your face.
Yeah.
So I like with Metroid Dread, I even turned down the brightness in game so that it the game looks way more moodier. Which it really brings out the atmosphere in Metroid
Nice.
Dread.
I read, by the way, just now that the film that's over the screen is meant as a anti-scratch film.
Well, we'll see.
There's only one way to find out.
I'm not gonna scratch it.
No, no, no. Like only time will tell.
Exactly. That's what I was also aiming
Yeah.
for.
I hope you
uh,
don't get like a because you showed me your other Switch, which is
yeah.
literally missing like a piece from the back plate. Like I hope this one lasts longer.
I I'm pretty sure it's gonna like a lot of reviews were saying this, and I was like, okay. And then I had it myself, but it really feels more premium than like the regular Switch,
Oh well, that's nice.
which is very nice because for like I said before, the kickstand is made of metal, so that already. Plus, they textured the back, so the actual back feels has a nice little texture to it,
Mm.
and it just feels really nice to like hold and like it feels more grippy. Like it feels like I have a better control of it. And the
Nice.
Switch keeps get turning on when I take it out the dock. I need to turn that off. So yeah, that is it. That's what I've been playing.
Nice. Well, sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, sorry. There was one more game. So last time we talked about the direct. There was this one game called Voice of Cards,
Oh yes.
directed by the same guy that did that does the Near franchise and Dragon Card and stuff like that. And I was in the middle of playing the demo. I finished the demo,
Oh nice.
and I kind of really want to play that game.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know why, but it works.
Okay.
Like it's it's so I mean it's weird because it's literally just cards and you do have like this omnipotous narrator
Okay.
that he doesn't do voices or anything, he just narrates the cards.
Mm.
And like the combat is very basic turn-based combat, but I like it. I don't hate it. I like the aesthetics for
Did
one.
you
The
play?
music is very good.
Did you play Gwent or Hearthstone?
Okay, but it's not like Gwent or Hearthstone. It's not a
Also.
competitive game.
Ah, okay.
It's literally a tabletop RPG,
Okay.
but you're playing it with cards. Everything is cards. The lands are cards, the towns are cards, the people are cards, the stores are cards, the items, everything is cards. Like with one exception, and that is your action meter, if you even call it that. It's like these gems that you get like every time a character plays, you get another gem, and some moves require multiple gems to execute. So see that kind of as like a general mana pool. Um, and like if you're using special attacks or elemental attacks, you use at least one or two gems. I'm assuming the more you go into like you'll have to use like three gems. Sometimes you have to use gems and you have to do a dice roll to determine like the effectiveness of that attack. So that actually is pretty cool. And gosh darn it, what freaking Yoko Taro, man. Jeez, this guy, man, he's unstoppable at this point. Like he keeps like I think someone said it on another podcast. Like Sony Square Enix has essentially given him carte blanche, and he can just basically make whatever game he wants, or they're forcing him to make whatever game he is thinking about making. um,
Not a bad situation to be in.
Not a bad situation, but the guy himself is very mm, shy, if I
Ah,
want to say it correctly.
okay.
Because, like, for example, I don't think anybody's ever seen his face before, because he's always wearing that big. Have you ever seen this guy?
No.
Hang on, you know what? I'm gonna show you before we go off
But
because
is it like? Is it
I
not
want to
like?
capture your reaction.
Oh god.
Uh,
Show me on your phone, because otherwise the Zoom will uh go crazy.
oh no, I'm just gonna send you the link.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Is it not like a bit with Japanese developers in general? Because it's the same with
No, because most of them you know how they look like. This dude, you have never seen how he looks like. Yeah, here, hang on. Let me.
it's the same with like the guy from Software, the mastermind behind all those Souls games. He rarely shows up in public. He rarely does interviews. He just wants to focus on making the game, and he's not interested in doing press at all.
Wait, so you're saying we've never seen that dude's face?
Oh, probably, but like he's more like the less I do with the media stuff, the happier I am. Whereas normally a developer's like,
Oh,
oh
that's
yeah,
fine.
media, yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so I send the link. Check it out. Check it out. So for those listening, if you haven't seen Yoko Taro, just Google Yoko Taro, um, Taro,
Where did
and
you
you'll
send the
see
link
it
to?
in the Zencaster.
Oh, I'm looking on my phone. Oh my god. Oh, I have seen this before.
Yeah, that he always wears that mask,
That's so
which
creepy.
by the way, it is a recurring character in his games.
Yeah, because wasn't that in Near?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Ugh, weirdo.
Emil. The character's called Emil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. I still have to go to bed after this, so happy days.
Enjoy.
Oh, I will. I'm gonna haunt
yeah.
you next.
So if you're interested in Voice of Cards, the demo is on Switch. It's coming out later this month, at the end of this month, actually. I think October 28th or something like that. So if you've played the demo, I honestly would like I. If you played the demo and you enjoyed it, I don't think there's anything stop you from not getting it because it is actually fun
Nice.
and it's pretty and the music's good. And that's it. That's what we've been playing. Wow, this is I think this might be the single longest what we've been playing in quite some time.
We actually played a lot, so.
Yeah, true. With that, Sean, will you do me the honors?
I will try to do it as always. So, thank you all for tuning in, both to the audio version and the video version. We always appreciate your support. You can find us for the audio listeners on your favorite podcasting platform. We're available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Overcast. You name it, we're probably there. You can reach us through email, game rivals feedback at gmail.com. You can find the link to the video version in the description. Um, we post the episode as soon as the audio version goes live, so it's always there. If you want to look at our pretty faces, you can. So you can always find us on social media as well. We're available on Twitch and Twitter, Instagram. I think like Twitter is game underscore rivals underscore. You can find Maximilian on Twitter at Maximilian. Um, Twitch would be at Maximilian underscore X and or
Slash
twitch.tv/Maximilian
Maximilian underscore X.
X. Yeah, and I am twitch.tv/Sean Templar. What are you going to play after the Metroid? Are you going to do Dread
So
next
I
time
I
or?
don't I don't know if I'm gonna continue Dread on stream. I think I might just play that offline.
Okay.
And because basically my whole shtick on Twitch before I was doing Super Metroid is I tend to play games randomly what I feel like playing.
Hmm.
So I might return to either Secret of Mana or play something else.
If you're going to
Um,
do the Secret of Mana, people should definitely tune in because you do some stellar voice acting.
I did stellar voice acting for the Metroid one because the opening has like this like text, but what I did not realize is that the text is Samus speaking.
Ah,
So I started it as like this like basic dude, and then I found out, oh wait, I'm actually Samus. So I had to switch it
oh, nice.
to a more feminine voice.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Oh, nice.
Um, so if you want to see that, that's on the VOD. So yeah, I might play a little bit more Dread on Twitch, but I also might be playing something else. Actually, I kind of miss playing Kerbal Space Program, so I might do that somewhere this month. Play a bit
Nice.
of Kerbal Space Program, return to that,
Nice.
and I might actually do Voice of Cards if I do manage to pick it up at the end of the month.
Oh, nice.
Um, and do a little bit of that, but it is a JRPG, so it is very text heavy. I don't know how interesting that's going to be for people to see,
Even more
but
voiceover
oh
opportunity
no,
for
I don't
you.
have to voice over because, like I said, it has a narrator. Ha! Nice try.
Too bad. Too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm playing Days Gone. I hope to finish it this week on stream. Otherwise, there's another one next week. But I feel like I'm close to the ending. Yeah, you
Nice.
can find us on Instagram at Game Rivals and at Maximilian underscore X. I don't know what's going on. I'm like,
You're on fire today, aren't
yeah,
you?
I am. I guess it's late and I'm tired. And I think with that, stumbling across everything, I think we've covered them all.
hmm
And on that note, I have been and always will be Sean Templar,
And I've been and will always be Maximilian X.
and we'll catch you on the next one.
Later.